Sometimes you just have to say, you know what? Great game of football. The real winner here is the game of football. As it stands, Liverpool are in the exact same position as they were on Friday. 6 points clear with a game in hand. I want to talk all about the match and my experience watching it and thoughts on some key players, we'll say. First of all, let me just say this. The copyright strike is over. We fucking did it, guys.
This son of a bitch pulled it off!
This is literally the very first thing that I've done to get back to my normal routine after 16 days. 16 days. I love my family. 16 days though. Anyway, let's talk about the match. First of all, it drives me mental when I see things like I was seeing online of like, oh, it's going to be 28-0. Oh, now we have United. Oh, another 7-0 incoming. Oh, maybe they could just not show up. Haha, oh, it's going to snow. Oh, should we just not show up? Take the forfeit. I'm like, you fucking idiots. You know what I mean? It's one thing United fans doing it, because you know what they're doing. They're doing it like, oh, I guess we're not going to win. I was like, please stop. Have you learned nothing? I mean, literally, it was a United fixture previously that derailed their whole fucking season. And we were all like, I knew it. I was never getting confident. Well, confident, but never getting cocky. You know what? It was one of those games. I'm actually way less irritated than I was when we drew 1-1 with Arsenal. And Arsenal are a better team. A less likeable team than United. I'm not saying something. But a better team. Because I had so much pent up shit for Arsenal. And for the United, for this one, I'm kind of like, you know what? Grand. From the point where we scored our first goal to going 2-1 up, we played like we normally do there. And everything in between, we were kind of shy. For us. So we didn't score the last goal, which normally has the lasting effect on how I feel. If we score last, great. Okay, we stuck it to them. But the fact that they scored last, but also had a couple of chances and one at the very last minute that could have won it for them. And I mean, can you imagine the frustration? You see them reeling off, like Harry Maguire being like, you know. And they played good. We had Alisson to thank for keeping us in it. Luckily, they're not very good at finishing. And you know what? It felt like I went in first half kind of like, all right, that was kind of shit. I'm kind of lucky to be 0-0 here. And normally at half time, I'm like, you know what? Slot'll fix it around. And I just didn't have that sense this time. I don't know why. I didn't have the, like, it's all right. Second half, we're gonna maul them. It didn't feel like it was going to go that way. And then they scored. But we absolutely deserved to go behind. Against United. So we were deservedly behind. And I was genuinely worried that we would go 2-0 behind or something like that. The mood just didn't seem right. Like, it just didn't seem very much like us until fucking Big Gak, man. I mean, this fucking guy coming in from that left, you know what he wants to do. Everyone except De Ligt knew what he wants to do. He sends De Ligt off skiing down the pitch. And oh my God, the let off when this goal went in. First of all, the fact that it's Big Gak, it's an absolute thunder bastard of a shot. And do you know what else was very pleasing about this goal? Obviously, to get us back in the game, 1-1, brilliant. And I was like, fucking Big Gak. Here's what satisfied me most. One, the slide of De Ligt to just go out of frame, and he couldn't stop it. It was like he was trying to get back. Like he was literally still sliding when the ball hit the back of the net. So the fact that he cut inside and then you just like show him Big G. When Big Gak absolutely smashes it into the top corner, it is so perfectly in the top corner. Do you know what I mean? Like right where the net kind of joins at the seams, just fucking right there. It was like the satisfaction level of that. You know, remember that like DVD menu screen where it kind of bounces along and then it finally goes right in the corner and you're like, that's what it was like. What a fucking release. The fucking yes scale, that's a 9.5. Fucking Big Gak, man. And even though my copyright strike is now officially over, I'm going to still play it safe a little bit. So if you didn't catch it, this crude representation will give you an idea as to what actually went down there. fucking big Gak, man. And then it was fucking on. Then you see Jota and Nunez getting warmed up. I'm like, immediate mood shifter. All of a sudden it was like Anfield was Anfield again, and it was like fucking, you know what I mean? They're messing up now, and we're getting it. We're winning the battles. Complete mood shifter. I'm like, oh, great. This is us now. Here we go. When I finish the ins and outs of the match, I'm going to talk about players. I'm going to talk about Trent specifically because there's a lot to talk about there. But anyway, then we get a fucking penalty. It was the most obvious. I mean, I don't think there's anything in my life that will just make my arms involuntarily go. My whole family's in the room. Dog, cat, trying to sleep on the floor. My toddler is running around. My other daughter is on her iPad and just kind of half looking up. My future wife is standing there, not really, just kind of not enjoying me in the room, basically, because I'm standing the whole time, I'm just looking at it like, come on. I'm not sitting. It's only when I catch myself that like, maybe my energy's a bit too much here, then I'll sit down for a second, and then until I jump up again. But the penalty thing was just straight up, penalty! And Salah, can I shock you, mate? I love your power approach. Forget what I said on previous episodes. I tell you what I loved about it as well. Onana, of all people, I mean, the biggest buffoon in the league, coming out of his box to try and get in like Salah's head or whoever's head. I mean, get back on your line. The power option worked. The fact that Onana was giving it all that and then just lets it go right through his hands. I thought he'd saved it. I was like, fuck yes. Fucking who else? That's one of the examples where power pays. Fucking yes, scale, that was a 9 as well. Let's go. I was pretty sure we were going to win the game at that point. If you didn't see it, by the way, here is a representation of what actually happened. If I could also take this opportunity to stop and ask if you aren't subscribed to please subscribe. Anyway, back to the video. Then they equalise. That's a fucking tame goal as well. Just hate seeing these trickly little goals that we concede. Dare I say it, Alisson? I thought at the time could have done a bit better. It was a little bit like wrong-footed or something like that. You wasn't expecting it to go that way, but wasn't happy with it. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into the rest. It finished 2-2. You know how it went. But let's talk about Trent. Do you know, before the match, I was actually praying. I was like, not praying, thinking. I was like, because there was such a pile on Trent in the week after that Real Madrid offer. But I was kind of like, oh, don't fucking boo him or something like that now when you get out. Because I know we wouldn't. Because that's the thing, like, we're not that sort of club that boos players. So I was like, don't boo him. Just because the people on Twitter were fucking losing their minds about it. And it was all like, oh, remember when Milner took that corner quickly? Like, just trying to already erase Trent from history or something like that. I mean, just stupid shit. I was like, don't boo him. And I was glad then when he came out and like, nope, got a great reaction. And how did he respond to that great reaction? By putting in one of the worst performances you've ever seen from him. Let's just call it what it is. Defensively, I'll talk about that in a sec. Offensively, everything he tried, barring one I noticed a simple pass to Salah. Everything else, because I've kind of like, I was extra focused on him because I'm like, okay, you know, the focus is on him a little bit, and like, how's he performing? Shocking. Genuinely, barring one successful straightforward pass to Mo Salah, it seemed like every single thing he attempted didn't come off. Do you know what it is, right? I feel like Trent's body language in general is a little bit like, you know, it can be an issue. I find it's an issue for me sometimes where I'm like, fucking. So when something like this is also happening, going on in the background, it's extra infuriating. All right, it's extra, you know, like, this is the time for you to fucking have it. You know what I mean? And I actually thought it was going to be one of those of like, he's going to have a fucking phenomenal game now. I was like, don't fucking boo him. Just support him. He's gonna play out of his skin now. And it was just the opposite. I mean, suspect in both of their goals. All of their success came down his side. But you know what? Like, it'd be one thing if he was just going in and like getting done. I kind of feel with Trent like he's so cool, or he's trying to always be so fucking like, hey, this is nothing. It's like he's worried about if he goes in and someone beats him or megs him or something like that he'll look a fool or something like that. So he just doesn't. He'll kind of hang back. If they run around you, I'll maybe stick a leg out, but I'm not going to chase you. I'm a fucking man. I'm not going to chase any man. You know? I'm not even going to try. Like a protagonist in a rom-com who is so afraid of having his heart broken that he doesn't even try. But you know what I mean? And fucking Verge. Oh, Verge was us. Verge was fucking furious. Like, proper losing it. There was another time I'd noticed where he's just like, he's saying, Trent. He's like shaking his head. There was another time where Trent, like, he just would stand off. Just let them. Like, all you have to do is just put a little bit of pace, put a little bit of pep in your step, and you can just go around him easy. I mean, no wonder they targeted that side. He wasn't like, you know, Trent gave the ball away, Verge had to cover him, and just the death stare that Verge gave him, where he's like, there was another point where Trent was kind of like just kind of hanging back, not going in on him, and I seen Verge like, Trent, he's like, fucking, come on, you know, like, fucking be strong and get in. Oh, he was fucking furious. It actually was quite cathartic to see that. And then it became a thing where it was like, it had gone 2-2, and he's still giving it away, and it became one of those like, oh, he needs to get off the pitch like right now. You know, well, not now, 30 minutes ago, but like the fact that he's still on, like, oh, his head's gone. Like, he needs to, like, Conor Bradley fucking get going quick, because we're going to concede another goal in 5 minutes if he stays on. I think he could have made a change after an hour. I think it was kind of obvious. In hindsight, says me, a fucking YouTuber, but like, in hindsight, probably could have come off a bit earlier, a lot earlier. But then the stark contrast to Conor Bradley, who in his 5-10 minute cameo, like, Trent won 0 duels, by the way, that entire game. Bradley won his first, or won at least. 1 tackles, nearly fucking won the game. With some great, but it just drive. He was the anti-Trent in terms of his energy and effort, where he was just like, fucking, give me that fucking ball. Give me that fucking ball. You know, where he's playing and he's in, and he nearly did Onana. I know Salah was absolutely fuming with him, but it was worth a try, because he fired it. Onana just got a little hand to it, nearly won the game. But there was, do you know what, even more than that, there was one tackle that he made. Maybe it was the one where, I don't know who it was, Dallo or someone, some schlub, had the ball, and like he's waiting, and he times it, where he's like waiting, and then he waits for them to take a touch, and then he rushes them and gets the ball off him for a throw in or whatever. Just like Kelleher and Allison, where they time their runs when it's 1-on-1. I was like, that's how you fucking do it. That's how you fucking do it. You know? I love Trent, and if anything, I've been a little bit more like, you know what, like, whatever happens with the contract thing, my view is, right, if you're asking, like, most people will be like, if he leaves for nothing, that's a fuck you to the club. I'm a little more in the middle, I guess, where it's like, yeah, that's kind of shitty. Like, Liverpool don't want you to go, and they'll get nothing from it. So that's kind of shitty, if he goes in the summer. But ultimately, I'm only judging people by their on-pitch performance, which was shocking. But you know, it's like I was saying with the Zubimendi thing, where it's like, if you don't want to play for Liverpool, like, okay, like, that's easy, makes my mind in an instant. Okay, that's a shame. All the best. That's it. If you don't want, with every fibre of your being, to play for Liverpool, to bring success to Liverpool, that's fine. It's not like, oh, fuck you then. It's like, that's fine. All the best. That's it. And the whole thing of like, you know, it's like, I see so much debate over like, well, if he does go, is he a Liverpool legend? What about his legendary status? Is he a Liverpool legend? Well, if he goes, the question is he a Liverpool legend? Like, I think he probably is. You know, he mightn't be revered, but like, certainly legendary status. It's hard to argue when you're arguably the best right back the club's ever had. in the top 3, at least. Having won every trophy. It's hard to not, like, he's going to get brought up in Ultimate Liverpool team of the century or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so it's hard to, you're not going to just erase him. The thing is, like, it's all speculation, you know? Like, of course Real Madrid putting in an offer. That's what they want. They want us to turn on him. And then everyone loses their mind and they're like, oh, Trent, how dare you? Like, we don't know. We just don't know if Trent, you know, had anything to do with it. Probably, but we don't know. So until he officially hands in like a transfer request or, you know, whatever, I'm kind of just, let's just see how it plays out. Anyway, speaking, just to wrap a little bow on this shit sandwich. Other players who I thought were great. Alexis McAllister. An absolute son of a bitch performance if I've ever seen one. He was phenomenal. I thought Konate coming back in, perfect timing since Joe Gomez is obviously injured. Konate played very well. Verge played fucking great. Gravenberch played fucking great. Salah was great. Gakpo was great. Everyone else, not so much. If I can critique Arne Slot just a little, I thought he got his subs wrong. And normally he gets them very right. And I feel he's very proactive with subs. My small issue with Klopp was that he would wait too long to make changes. And I was like, oh, Slot doesn't do that. Look, he's switching out the fullbacks. Not today. I thought that Nunez and Jota coming on together, while I was absolutely made up to see Nunez coming on after we had just equalised. I'm like, Nunez is coming on. Fucking let's go. Oh, he's just having such a hard time of it. And do you know what? I was only watching that Liverpool thing on YouTube, like all our goals from 2024. The first couple of months of 2024, Nunez was on fucking fire. And I was like, fuck. Do you know what I kind of think with Nunez? It's such a shame because he's so off it. He just doesn't look like a goal is coming within the next 10 games. But you know what I was thinking about Nunez? I would actually like to try him as third choice left attacker, than second choice central attacker. Although he's probably third choice there too. I would like to see Nunez competing for that spot, if I'm being honest. Just to try. Because I think he's great at cutting inside like Gakpo is. He's got a great shot on him like that. Just give him a little bit of space, he can pick off a really good shot. Whereas he doesn't get a chance to really showcase a lot of his strengths. But you know what? Like, Arne Slot, I love you. I respect you. I don't know shit about football. But will you please trust Endo when the game is crying out for him? Apparently he was going to take off Jones for Endo until we scored, and then he changed it. And I think, if Endo, what more does Endo have to do? He doesn't put a foot wrong every time these little dribs and drabs of play that he's got. He was man of the match in his last start. Like, this is the sort of game I thought where it was crying out for Endo. Jones wasn't as effective in this one. He's been playing great lately. Szoboszlai was badly missed. So without Szoboszlai and with Jones being a bit off it, and with McAllister and Gravenberch being fucking class, I thought, Endo would have just slotted right in there. Pardon the pun. Ultimately, I kind of left this match thinking, you know what? Because Arsenal only drew and Chelsea have fallen right off it and all this, I was just like, you know what? Fine. I was relatively happy with that. The fact that United fans felt, that's 2 points dropped there almost, made me feel better. But it was a really entertaining game. Sometimes you have to just be like, you know what? Great game. Great game. Where are we? Oh yeah, we're top of the table. So we can appreciate a great game even more. Next up, we are away to Spurs on Wednesday in the first leg of the prestigious League Cup. And this is a competition where I'm always like, whatever. And then when we get close to the final, I'm like, so I'll be back after that game. Thanks very much for sticking with me with all the car reviews in the last few weeks. Next in the league is Forest. A chance at redemption for Big Arne. And if I may say, thank you so much for all the support in 2024. Really excited with how the show is shaping up and stuff planned for 2025 as well. So it'll be great. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week. The fucking Reds.